Social media has become a part of my everyday life. Social media has changed the way I see things in life. As a 20-year-old, I use social media on an everyday basis. I have changed social media into a platform I can express myself in any way that I want. What I want to share is up to me. So, to my followers who have never met me in real life, you don't know me. To my followers who went to high school with me and have had classes with me in college, you don't know me. To my followers who used to be my friends, who hung out with me in high school, you don't know me. And to my followers who talk to me often enough to think that they know me, you don't know me. Did you think that you did? I'll tell you why you don't. Hey guys, welcome to my podcast in my room. It's your host, Jess, of course, and if you're not new here, welcome back. Today's episode is going to be a good one. It's going to be about how we perceive others based on what they post on social media. And that is why I spelled it the way that I did. Dnt Knw Me. So, my main idea with this episode is that social media is a platform people can be themselves any way that they want. Whether it's anonymously or not, they can show themselves to the world as they want. They can pick which parts of their lives to show others. And at the end of the day, while you might think you know somebody based on what they show on social media, you really don't. You only know what they want you to know. And with that being said, I'm going to get into the episode and start talking about it because it's very important to think about and to consider, and I feel like I say that for every single podcast episode of mine, but I always try to make my podcast episodes important, because if they're not important for people to care about, nobody's going to listen. And this type of subject is important for everybody to think about, because we all use social media and we all use it as we want to use it. So I came up with this podcast episode idea when I was having a conversation, again, as I always have a conversation and it sparks inspiration for a podcast episode. But I was having a conversation with my friend and we were talking about, I guess you could call it a dinner party she had gone to, and she was telling me about some of the friends I used to have in high school and how they were talking about me as if they knew me now. Now, the thing is that they really don't know me, and in fact, while they think they still know me, they don't, because they're basing what they know on what I talk about on social media, on what I talk about on my podcast episodes, on what I talk about in my YouTube videos, So they don't know me, but yet they think they do because of how I perceive myself on social media. So when I was having this conversation, obviously, it made me think about that. It made me think about how they really, really thought that they knew me. And it didn't make me mad. It didn't make me feel anything really. But it really just inspired me because it made me want to talk about this, because I don't think enough people realize this. And so I made a survey, and if you follow me on social media, I put out a survey, and so you might have seen it and you might have filled it out. And if you did fill it out, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And basically, that survey, which I forgot to pull up, so it's going to take me a second, but basically that survey had questions about social media and how you used it, and the type of people that you followed, and how you perceived others that you follow on social media. And I'll go through the questions and I'll go more in depth with them, but I really wanted people to fill this survey out because it gave me an idea of how people perceive others on social media. Now, I will say, do I think that everybody was completely honest when they were filling this survey out? No. I do think a lot of you guys were being humble, I guess you could say. That might not be the right word to describe it, but I guess in general, you guys were not completely honest. But we're never completely honest, are we? So 60% of my followers are between the ages of 16 and 19. And 35% of my followers are between the ages of 20 to 23. And then there's a 5% of my followers who are between the ages of 24 to 27. I don't have any other ages in my following, which honestly makes sense because I'm 20 years old, so of course my following is going to be in that area. So then I asked the question of which social media platforms are you active on, and 90% are active on Snapchat, 60% are active on Twitter, 80% are active on Instagram, 40% are active on Facebook, 40% are active on YouTube, 25% are active on TikTok, 20% are active on Visco, and 15% are active on Tumblr. And then the next question was, how many social media influencers do you follow? Meaning their jobs revolve around social media, such as YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagram models, etc. And 30% answered between 10 to 20. 25% answered between 1 to 5. 20% answered between 5 to 10. And then 20% answered between 20 to 50. And then 5% answered more than 50. And then there was the next question that asked, how often do you use social media? 50% answered frequently, 30% answered often, 15% answered sometimes, and 5% answered occasionally. The next question was, how often do you use social media per day? 45% answered 1 to 3 hours, 40% answered 3 to 5 hours, and 15% answered 5 to 10 hours. And the next question was, how much do you post on social media? 25% answered every day, 25% answered rarely, 25% answered about once a month, 20% answered once a week, and 5% answered twice a week. So then the next question was, how personal do you get on social media? 45% said that some personal info is displayed publicly, 35% answered little personal info is displayed publicly, and 20% answered no personal info is displayed publicly. And the last question was, how well do you think you know the people you follow on social media? In other words, influencers, or not including those you know personally in real life or on social media. And so 40% answered not at all, 30% answered a little, 25% answered somewhat, and 5% answered a lot. And so again, I wanted to have this survey filled out by you guys because you guys are users of social media. And so it would give me a good idea of what my main idea was. So I am going to go more in depth, but I thought I would answer the questions myself to you guys. And I am 20 years old, as I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, and the social media platforms that I'm active on are Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and that's about it. I use Twitter, but very rarely. I wouldn't say I'm active on it. How many social media influencers do you follow? I follow between 5 to 10. 5 to 10. I follow 5 to 10 social media influencers. And how often do I use social media? I would say I use it frequently, just because my work, well, most of my work is based on social media. So I go on social media every single day. Now, how often do you use social media per day? I would answer about 1 to 3 hours. No more than 4 hours. So the next question is, how much do you post on social media? I would say about once a week, maybe twice a week, somewhere between there. And how personal do I get on social media? I would say that some personal info is displayed publicly. Now, I'll get more into depth about that because I know I wasn't specific, but I was not specific for a reason. And then the last question was, how well do you think you know the people you follow on social media? And of course, I don't think I know the people I follow on social media at all, which is why I'm coming up with this podcast episode. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the only one that's come up with this idea, but obviously I'm talking about this, so I don't think that I know the people that I follow on social media. And so those are my answers. And now I want to go in depth with the survey, talk about the answers and the percentages of the answers. Because, like I mentioned, I really don't think everybody was completely honest, and that's completely okay. I mean, it's not like there was a right or wrong answer, but you'll see why, or what I mean when I say that I don't think the answers were completely honest. So the one question that I really want to touch bases on was, how personal do you get on social media? 20% answered no personal info is displayed publicly, which is a complete lie. I will tell you then. I don't want to just say I told you so, but it's literally impossible to have no personal info displayed publicly. I mean, for you to answer that truthfully, you'd have to have a private account and have nothing about you displayed, which meant that your name would not be displayed. Your username would be something that, would make you completely anonymous. In other words, you would have to be completely anonymous on social media for no personal info to be displayed. And not just that, your account would have to be private. So I doubt 20% of you guys have no personal info displayed. Now, I was surprised that the options of a lot of personal info is displayed and all personal info is displayed was not answered. But I also think that not everybody was honest with it, and there were probably some that did not want to answer honestly. So even though they might have an idea that a lot of personal information of theirs is displayed, they answered differently because they might have seen that bad. And it's not bad, but it's just, I really don't think that everybody's going to admit that they have more personal information displayed than others. And so that I wanted to touch bases on because it did surprise me. Those answers did surprise me. And so the last question I also wanted to talk about was how well do you think you know the people you follow on social media? Now, 40% said not at all. And this really surprised me. But I also think, again, that it has to do with people not answering honestly. Now, only 5% said a lot. And here's the thing that I find surprising is that every single one of us, including myself, I'm going to be completely honest, completely transparent. Every single one of us talks about others as if we know them based on their social media. So for any of us to not say that we don't know somebody or that we think that we don't know somebody at all based on their social media is a complete lie. Now, I don't think I know somebody completely based on their social media, but I would say that I somewhat know somebody or think that I know a little bit of somebody based on their social media. Now, that makes sense. But for everybody, or almost everybody, to answer that they don't think that they know anything about somebody based on their social media, it's a complete lie. And again, that's okay because we're not all gonna answer honestly. But it really did surprise me because I for sure can see that a lot of people think that they know somebody based on their social media. So that was a survey anyways, and I thought it would just be fun to include you guys, but also I thought it'd be really interesting to see those results and see how others use social media in that way. So that's a survey, and now I'm gonna go more into what this episode is about, what we're going to talk about, and my thoughts and my opinions on it and what I think about it, because social media is still growing because it is very new, and we're the people who are kind of like the lab rats. We're going through the process of what social media is turning into. So, social media is a platform that you have complete control of. Literally, you have complete control of it. And it may not seem that way, but you'll quickly realize as I tell you this. So, what you post is up to you. How you consume it is up to you. Overall, how you use it is up to you. So, when you start to realize these things about social media, you're going to realize a lot of other things about social media, because no one is telling you what to do or what to take from social media. They can only influence you, but going back to what I've mentioned, it's up to you. You're in complete control if you want to be influenced, how you want to be influenced, and who you want to be influenced by. It's all up to you. You are in complete control. And so that is why I think it's so important to remember that when you are using social media, everyone uses it very differently. And what I mean by that is how much a person posts is up to them. How much they're going to share about them is up to them. What they're going to share about them is up to them. It's all up to them, just like it's all up to you. And if you don't understand that, if you're questioning how others are using social media, then you should not be using social media because you don't understand it. You don't understand social media. And you really need to understand social media and all of its aspects in order to use it and be able to consume it in complete control as you should. So, with that being said, that you have complete control over everything, you should be able to make judgment for yourself of others and not take things so personally. And I know it's hard because I myself am sensitive and I take things personally more than I should take them personally. But just remember that it's social media. It really is just social media. It's a fake world. It's a fake world. Everyone is fake on social media and everybody is going to use it as they want to use it. Everyone's going to use it how they want to use it. And if that doesn't make sense yet, what I mean is they're going to perceive themselves as they want on social media because everybody does that. Everybody's going to use it as they want. And I'm repeating myself, but if I don't repeat myself, it's not going to make sense. So anyways, everybody is fake on social media. And if you say that you are not fake, you are. I'm sorry, but you are. You are. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You might not want to admit it, but everybody is fake, including myself. I'm being completely honest. I'm fake on social media. I'm not going to lie and pretend that who I perceive myself to be on social media is completely me because it's not. It's not. And that is because on social media, I can be whoever I want to be. I can make my life however I want it to seem. Just like you can be whoever you want on social media, and just like you can make your life seem as you want. And so really, at the end of the day, everybody is fake. Because nobody is going to show the ugly in their life. Nobody is going to show themselves as ugly. I mean, when we take selfies, we're not going to post the ones we don't like the way we look in. We're going to post the ones that we think we look good in because we want others to see our good side. We want others to see us as good as we want to see ourselves, And that goes for the same thing in how we talk on social media. We're not going to talk about things that we know others are not going to like to hear. And that's a lot of the reason why I do this podcast, because I talk about a lot of things that I know a lot of other people would not have the guts to talk about on social media. And I'm not saying that I'm a lot stronger than you or that I'm a lot better than you or any way. I don't even have to disclaim myself, but that is why I have this podcast, because I want to talk about the things that nobody wants to talk about on social media. For example, this episode. So, admit it. You don't know anybody that you follow, and neither does anybody know you who follows you. Because I'm fake, you're fake, we're all fake on social media, and we're all gonna be the way that we want others to see us as. So that is why you don't know me. Because who I am on social media is not exactly who I am. I post what I want on social media because it is up to me. I talk about what I talk on social media because it is up to me. And that is just the surface of who I am. So, to my followers who have never met me in real life, you don't know me. To my followers who went to high school with me and have had classes with me in college, you don't know me. To my followers who used to be my friends, who hung out with me in high school, you don't know me. And to my followers who talk to me often enough, they think that they know me, you don't know me. And I'm sure you're thinking that you did, but does it make sense now that you don't know me?